TC, I'm so glad to be back in studio. I'm great. I'm doing wonderfully. I'm really excited to get into our topic of discussion today. Yes, thank you for having me. Thank you, listeners and viewers. It's only a pleasure to be back.
Absolutely. Kayla, you know what I love about you is that you are so passionate about what you do. And I said this to the listeners before as well when I was notifying them that you are coming into the studio. And I said, this is one young lady and one thing about you is that you love the Lord with all your heart, like there's no compromise when it comes to the love of Christ, within you. And I love the fact that you are in business and you're not afraid to show that side of you,
Yes.
to show that I am a child of God, first and foremost. So I'd like us to get it started. If you could go into a little bit of detail or tell us briefly as to, the decision to start your own business. How did that happen?
So look, I'm going to be completely straight up and vulnerable. I went through a tough divorce. So initially I started my business in 2017 and a better opportunity came along about 2 years later. I worked for Dermalogica and then went into ministry thereafter, full-time ministry, went through a divorce. After the divorce, the Lord is telling me, I made a vow in my heart, TC, that I would never open a business again.
Sure.
Because I felt like a failure. I felt like I didn't reach my goals and I didn't accomplish what I had wanted to accomplish with my business in the past. And I honestly just didn't have the courage to stand up again and risk making that mistake again, the same mistakes, going back down the same road. And, the Lord spoke. And I always say, when the Lord speaks, when he knocks for the third time, we've got to answer. And when he said for the third time, Kayla, I need you to open your business.
Wow.
Your business is to support and fuel your ministry financially. And I said, Lord, okay. I think he knew if it had nothing to do with ministry, I wouldn't have been interested in opening my business again. But you see, with being in beauty, TC, it becomes such a beautiful platform for me to minister to my clients, for my clients to, really be open and vulnerable before the Lord in that time. So that's where it started. It started in my pain, in my brokenness, and through me, through Christ resurrecting my business from nothing, I started to heal. So it's just that a thing again, and I think in this time there's a lot of us that are recovering from loss, from grief, from brokenness and things that have had to fall away.
Yeah.
And I feel in this time the Lord is saying, don't wait to be completely healed. Stand up. Run with what I have given you. There's no better time than now. The Lord will use what he has given us to enable and aid our healing and our restoration.
Sure. To continue being resilient in a time when you are going through the most, when you yourself are carrying so much pain, literally grief,
Yes.
If I think of a divorce, I'm thinking it's the end of something, that was beautiful, but it's not beautiful anymore.
Exactly.
And to still come out as strong as you are, it can only be God.
Only his grace, my friend.
Sure. Now, when it comes to your business, what are some of the methods or techniques that you have implemented to ensure that your business stands out from other businesses and that, it has that special Kayla thing?
TC, I think anyone that knows me would say, I love talking. And through talking, I love building relationships.
Awesome.
So I feel like my unique niche, if I could call it that, is relationship with my clients. It's really important that I build relationship with my suppliers and those that I associate with in business. And then the other end of it is really making sure that I have stable, secure, fruitful relationships with my clients that grow. The word says iron sharpens iron.
on.
And I want to see that in my business. I want to see my clients grow. I want to see them thrive. I don't want to grow. I don't want my business to grow without them, because at the end of the day, they are my business's biggest investors. So I invest everything that I can into them, my energy, my capacity. If it means that, it's a funny story. Someone needed a lift home the other day from the salon. I did it. Because I mean, it wasn't gonna cost me anything. I was leaving the salon too, and that you won't find necessarily in a bigger business, and there's a reason why. But one thing I have learned, TC, is that healthy boundaries is also important within business, between you and your supplier, and your client, and you and your client. And I think that's where the line can get crossed, because we want to, especially when working on relationships, we tend to become, especially in our industry, we tend to become our client's friend.
Yes.
And then it's difficult to reestablish that boundary again, which is a place that I'm currently finding myself in. But it's something that is so great to learn from, you know. I've never been in this position before, so it's challenging, but I can feel how it's literally growing me within.
Sure.
You know, it's breaking off all old boundaries and limitations within me. And through that, I'm seeing a whole shift and, you know, transition within my business.
And, you know, you speak about certain things that you had to learn within this journey that you're in. And it's bringing me to the next question, which is, what has been the hardest part of being an entrepreneur? You know, when you look back and see the difficulties, you know, that this has been difficult or X has been difficult.
I think a lack of self-control, TC. It can surface in so many areas of one's life and business. And when I say a lack of self-control, I mean, you know, not surrounding yourself with people that are going to sort of try to dig very deep into your pocket, because that's something that can happen. And if you're a giver by heart, if you serve the Lord, 99.9% of the times you want to help, you know, you want to give back. But I remember one of my business professors said at our graduation, do good, do well before you do good.
Sure.
In other words, do well financially before you start assisting those in need in order to do good. And it's not to say you're not going to assist others at all. It just means that you're not going to throw yourself under the bus in order to assist another. Because if you're building a vision, you know, that serves God's kingdom, and you rob from that vision, you're ultimately robbing from God's kingdom. You're stealing from His kingdom. Because this business that I have, Heaven's Door, is supposed to serve His kingdom. So I've got to think, I've got to make such calculated decisions when it comes to finances, relationships, who I choose to connect with. You know, I think everything through 10, 15, 20 times before I actually decide on something. But it's taken years to learn that. You know, it takes emotional maturity. We always see it as, you know, if we've got intellect, we can go far. But I read someone, someone who went far in business, I don't know who it was, but they said that emotional maturity, your EQ, will get you far further than your IQ will. And I've learned that. I feel like I'm a living testimony to that. So definitely self-control, TC. You know, even when it comes to doing your admin, I despise admin. I despise it. So, like, I've had to learn to be disciplined in that area and have self-control. Like, it's so bad that I would throw myself into doing more treatments, seeing clients later, just so that I don't have to do admin. And now it's like, no, girl. You've got to sit and do your admin because it's going to help your business run effectively and efficiently. So definitely, you know, everything that falls under discipline, under self-control, it requires discipline. It requires consistency. It requires a strong will, you know, to get things done and stay on course. It requires you to stay in your lane and remain focused. All of it is tied to self-control.
Absolutely. You talk talk about staying in your lane and remaining focused. I love that so much. That the idea of staying in your lane. I think that it's something that is so necessary, especially in the time that we're in.
Yes.
In the world. And in the kingdom of God as well. And, what does that look like, Kayla, for you, personally staying in your lane, not worrying about, what my competitors are doing this side and then running and doing the same thing that the competitors are doing because I don't want to be left behind,
Exactly.
and sometimes it can be a conflicting
Yes.
space,
Yes.
So I'm interested to hear how you find it.
TC, I've definitely been there where I've ran around chasing my tail, trying to do what everyone else is doing, what everyone else is also informing me to do,
Yes.
or advising me to do. I've tried to do it all, and you realize you just waste your time because they're not you and you're not them. And at the end of the day, God gave you a vision.
Come on.
So no one can fulfill that vision with the tools and the character, the personality, the equipment that God has given you, like other than, the way in which you can.
Yes.
But TC, back to your question. Sorry, just say that again because I think I went off.
Staying in your lane can
So,
sometimes be conflicting. So
yes.
how do you deal with it?
So that spirit of comparison is the thing that definitely does get us. What I've learned is that one has to really strengthen the mind. If the word says we have the mind of Christ, but we're not seeing it manifest as his mind, it's because we're not intentionally becoming one with his mind. And his mind is in his word. So if we remain steadfast in his word, DC, no one else is going to sway us. I have a mentor that told me, Kayla, you've got all the answers to every single question. God is within you. So every answer lays there. Sure. If you've reached a speed bump or a mountain or just a hill, and you need answers in order to get to the other side, those answers are within us. So it's really a matter of slowing down, quieting your mind, and searching for those answers. The word also says that the kingdom of heaven is within us. So where are we going to search? We're not going to search above or below. We're going to search within ourselves. And that is what has helped me a lot. So like Sundays is my off day. So I do my introspection. Wherever I've got questions, that is where I do my seeking and my finding, is in my quiet time, retracting from the busyness of business and ministry, and actually getting back to my secret place with the Lord.
Which is important. And guides you to where you are now.
Exactly.
What does success mean to you, and what does it look like?
TC. I've got big dreams, girl. I've got huge dreams. I'm just going to be blatantly honest. I don't think I'll ever see myself as successful. Success to me, in all honesty, looks like a healthy family, because my family is my greatest support. We have our rough times, our rough patches, but at the end of the day, they're the ones that you come back to. They support you when you're at your worst and at your best. Even when it doesn't look like they're supporting you when you're at your worst. When they're behind closed doors, they will speak only the best of you. You can count on that.
So true.
So honestly, TC, I just feel like, because I've got such big dreams for myself, I'm always going to see more. I'm always going to be pursuing more. And one thing that I've always prayed is that there is not a single, I always say, Lord, before this earth sees my end, I need to be emptied out with purpose. There can be nothing left inside of me. And I learned that from Miles Monroe. Him and his wife would declare the same thing, is that they are void of purpose by the time they leave this earth. And so that's my prayer, that's my belief. So TC, what do I see success as? I see it as inner peace and inner joy. I can't place it on any materialistic thing. I could go on and say, I want this car and I want my business to, be like this and like that. But at the end of the day, if I don't have peace, then I don't have success. And if I don't have love, then I don't have success. Because it's lonely without those things.
I love that, through it all, you bring it back to family, that foundation, and having that stability in a sense, really means a lot to you. I love that so much, Kayla. Now, obviously, you are in a position where you are a leader, and you lead a team. What makes a good leader in your eyes?
Compassion, understanding, the need to always want to see growth within yourself and those you are leading. Wanting to lead from the back and not from the front. If you look at when the shepherd shepherds the sheep, he doesn't always walk in front of them. He knows when to walk behind them in order to sort of nudge this side, nudge that side, and not have them wander off. So I really just feel it's getting to know your staff or getting to know those that you are leading, understanding their current standing and position, because their position changes constantly. And if a person is repositioned within their personal life, it can instantly change the dynamic on any team. So if you're out of touch with your staff, who they are, who they choose to be, what their goals are, who they'd like to become, and you don't assist them on that journey, then you've completely disconnected them from your own vision.
Sure. Wow. So to the leaders that are listening out there, Kayla has said it. Now we need to implement and execute everything that she has said. Kayla, lastly, what is your advice to other young entrepreneurs like yourself, older entrepreneurs, people that are saying, man, I need to start my life again, and I'm starting this business, I'm thinking of starting this business next year. The people that have delayed starting their businesses, they would have said, oh, next year became 10 years. So yeah, your advice in getting it going and showing up and doing it.
Okay, so always start with what you have. You see, it seems so much bigger in our head versus what it actually
looks like. Yeah.
When I started my business, DC, I didn't have a single thing. I bought thread, and I like cotton, and I started threading people's eyebrows on my couch. And it takes humility to do that. I had a lot of pride. And I had to come down, and realize that people want to support a small vision. Something that seems small, the minute people see a big thing, they think you don't need them. But when they see that your vision is pure and it's starting from the ground up, they will support you for time to come. You think of Edgar's, Woolworths, there were people there. You think of Facebook or Google. There were people there from the foundation when those people started, whether it was in their garage, in their lounge area, or even on an online platform. Start somewhere.
Come on.
And don't overthink it. Put it down on paper and know that whatever plan you've put in place is not going to go your way. There's going to be detours. There's going to be delays. There's going to be mistakes. It's okay. It's all of those things that aid us for the bigger plan, the bigger purpose, the bigger vision. And don't be scared to collaborate. Don't be scared to burn your fingers. If you do, know that you will never burn your fingers again. So rule out fear,
like
build up your faith. Start prophesying over yourself. Start declaring the vision. I used to draw pictures of my health, wellness, and beauty center that I'd have one day. I don't have it yet, but I know someday it's going to come to pass. Someday it's going to aid people's healing and their growth and their advancement in the kingdom of heaven. But right now, it's but a small, little, beautiful seed, and it's still busy blooming. It's still trying to sprout and push through the soil. And I'm happy with that. Is it challenging? Yes. Because every year you want to give up. Every year you want to throw in the towel. But we thank God
Yeah,
that He
come
sends the
on.
right people to assist us in being enduring,
Yes,
resilient.
Lord.
I feel like our network serves us so well when we open ourselves to network in a natural manner, where
Yes.
we just open to meet new people. We drop all the boundaries, all the walls. We allow ourselves to share our vision with others so others can start believing it and start supporting it.
So awesome.
Because when they get to know us, they get to know our vision. My business mentor told me, Kayla, wherever you are, your business or your brand is.
Come on.
So no, people don't need to see your brand. They don't need to see your business. They need to see you.
You.
Let them see your personality. Let them see what you believe for a brighter tomorrow, a brighter future. Because let's be honest, when we start a business, it is either for our kids or it is for the next generation.
Yeah.
Because we want to leave a legacy. It should never be about the finances. It should be about how it's going to advance things on earth for the greater good of God's kingdom. And when we can make that our foundation, we must know that God is in every area,
Yeah.
in every decision, in every opportunity. He's there and He's present in it.
Do not despise small beginnings and trust the gift that God has given you. That's what I'm hearing you say, and write your vision down. It is important. Kayla, the services that you have. So if I go knocking at Heaven's Door Beauty Studio, what services are you able to give me?
Okay, so I do waxing, threading, massages, facials. I do tinting, lash lifts. I've got freelancers that come in to do lash extensions and acrylic. I do gel extensions, manicures, pedicures. So it's basically your one-stop shop. I do everything but hair. So whether it's, I don't do laser hair removal. So your aesthetic treatments, which is more your anything to do with the skin that goes below the superficial layer of the skin. I don't do any of that. And like I said, I don't offer hair for now because it is part of the plan. But my goal, TC, is really to use this platform, this business, as a way to assist the next generation.
So awesome.
So that they have a place to establish their brand, their business. It needs to become a stepping stone for, the next generation of beauty therapists. And I've had to, in that, sorry that I'm taking extra time, but I've had to, in that time, this time, I've had to learn that the beauty therapist that is out there today is not the same as the beauty therapists that I was raised up around. And I've had to adapt. I've had to become flexible, and I've had to realize and accept that they are different because they are going to serve a different generation of people and a different time of technology and the way things will be done. I mean, COVID has changed things so drastically for us. So 90% of them behave as freelancers, even though they're employed full time. But there's a reason for that. I haven't discovered it yet, but I'm faithful, and I believe that the Lord will come to show all of us in every single industry that why we need to remain adaptable, why we need to remain flexible. It's because the next generation that we are raising up, God has greater plans for. And we shouldn't become jealous of that. We should impart the wisdom that we have and learn from them because they too can sharpen us in order to help our vision grow while it assists them in growing.
Sure. Family out there. She's taking us to church. Oh, Kayla, thank you so much. It's been just so profound to have you here. The wisdom that you carry, the information and knowledge that you have, honestly, it is totally overwhelming. It almost feels like I've been at a TED talk of some sort. So yeah, thank you for listening to Kayla's TED Talk.
Thanks, TC.
But thank you so much for being here. Social media handles, how do our listeners get through to you?
So if we're looking at Instagram, you're going to go to HD_beauty_studio. If you're looking on Facebook, Full Heaven's Door Beauty Studio. And then if you want to catch me on WhatsApp, you can make your bookings there, ask your questions, or if you have any inquiries. It is on 066 217 2386. I'll repeat that. It's 066 217 2386. Can I give my email address as well?
You can go ahead. Yeah.
Those that's behind the PC all day. So it's info@hdbeauty.co.za.
Excellent. Family, you've heard it all. I would make my way and make my bookings so that I can, get all of this wisdom and all that she has to offer. A beautiful lady with so much to offer the world. I pray that God extends your territory and that vision that you wrote down becomes a reality for you. And may God just take you to places that you never even deemed possible. In Jesus' mighty name we pray. Thank you so much for coming through. Really appreciate this time.
Sis.
I wish we had more time.
It's an excuse to invite me back.
Yes, again. Next year we'll be like,
there we go.
Kayla, what's new? Well, believe it or not, Kayla, from Heaven's Door Beauty Studio, the next song that we're going to play is called Heaven Help Me.
Oh, wow.
By Zach Williams, coming your way, family. Enjoy.